From Daniel Studios in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's the Dennis Daniel Show. Tonight's guest, voice acting legend Jim Cummings. And your announcer, me, Belle Dandy. And now, here's your host. He is Cincinnati's next big radio personality, Mr. Dennis Daniel.
In an age desperate for a hero comes a man, strong, lightning fast, and unyielding in his fight for good.
Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through.
I am the DJ that squawks in the night. I am the pirate radio signal that invades your FM frequency. I am Dennis Daniel. Eh? Okay, it's not as good as the original, but give me a break. I'm trying here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you're tuned in to Blog Talk Radio's hottest talk show, The Dennis Daniel Show. It's me, it's the good old double D, Dennis Daniel. And I'm excited because tonight on the program we have got quite a prolific, iconic voice actor in the great Jim Cummings. I think everyone knows him best simply as the Mallard of Might, the Duck of Do-Goodery, the hero of St. Canard, Darkwing Duck. And I'm excited because, you know what, I'm going to skip the monologue. You know, it sounds crazy, but I got to skip it. My guest tonight is a very accomplished voice actor who for over 30 years has produced such countless characters, and he is starting a brand new Kickstarter campaign to get a Darkwing Duck movie underway. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, give it up for the one, the only Mr. Jim Cummings! Mr. Cummings, thank you and welcome to the Dennis Daniel Show.
Well, all right. That is a heck of an intro, man. I'm exhausted. I feel like I got to go lay down, you know?
Oh.
It's good stuff.
I know, but I got to give it up. You know, as a 90s kid, I watched a lot of the shows that you were in that made up pretty much my childhood. And,
no doubt. Yeah, I'm to blame for a great deal, I'm afraid.
And when you have Jim Cummings on the show, you can't help but get dangerous.
Well, of course, that goes without saying, but I'm glad you said it.
Well, I had to say it, DW. I mean, you're the guy that broke the mold, and I bow before your greatness. Oh, I'm not worthy.
A likely story.
But, yes, I do appreciate you coming on my program. You know, you're one of the pioneers of voice acting, and you've blazed a trail for many younger generations to follow. But we'll talk about that a little later on in the program. So what got you interested in acting?
Oh, geez. Well, you know, I think acting was interested in me, or so. I never even really thought of it in terms of a conscious decision. It was just something that I kind of always knew I was going to do. I mean, you know, when I was a kid, I would just, you know, I would do impressions of my relatives and the teachers in my schools and the priests, the nuns, the neighbors, and it's just something that was just a part of me. And next thing I knew, you know, I was doing it professionally, and you know, it's like saying, you know, what got me interested in, you know, being right-handed or left-handed, you know, so it was just there.
I actually read on your IMDb that you actually used to be a Mardi Gras float designer.
Oh, yeah. I sure did. Yeah, I did that for a couple of years. I moved. I was born in Youngstown, Ohio. Then I moved down to Cincinnati. Absolutely, yes, indeed. And I moved down to Cincinnati. Moved to New Orleans, and it was I just had a ball, and I always wanted to do certain things like playing a joint on Bourbon Street, and I wanted to be a deckhand on a riverboat, and this and that, and I ended up doing that, and this girl I was dating at the time went in to see if she could do the sign painting for the Mardi Gras float place there. It was called Royal Artists, and I noticed that there were people standing around with portfolios and this and that, and I thought, well, they were auditioning to get a job as the float designers and painters and sculptors and et cetera. And I thought, well, I looked at some of their stuff and I thought, oh heck, I can do this. So I went in and doodled down a bunch of things, and I got the job, and so did she. So that worked out. So that's how I got into doing that. And then I ended up painting murals and things on certain restaurant walls and everything in New Orleans. So I had my weird little bucket list: deckhand on a riverboat, make my living by painting and drawing and et cetera, and singing, and a drummer on a Bourbon Street strip joint, and so I got all my bucket list things out of the way early, so I need a new bucket.
That bucket must be bottomless, because in voice acting, you have just done so many countless characters that people are come up and tell me, oh, Dennis, you got to have them talk about, Monterey Jack, or you got them talk about Don Karnage, or you got them talk about, of course, Darkwing Duck. And there's so much to you, Mr. Cummings, that, I wouldn't even know where to begin, trying to filter out what characters are your best, which ones are not. I mean, you got Taz, you got Winnie the Pooh, you got Pete, you got all these great characters, and I can't even know where to begin. But I gotta remember.
Oh, good.
I gotta remember this is my show, and I think one of the best cartoons growing up when I was like 4 or 5 was, of course, Darkwing Duck. So I personally think your most iconic character was, of course, Darkwing Duck from the self-titled series. What was it like working on the series, and what did you think of Darkwing's character?
Oh, it was a ball. It was a ball. It's. I just had a great time with it. They used to let me ad lib a lot, and I used to, just kind of think on the spot, and it was great because he had a lot of appeal. He was just human enough. I mean, he was very much a cartoony character, but yet he still had his own foibles, and he was very, very relatable. It wasn't like a totally out there Smurf or a Transformer or a G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? This guy, he had problems. He was a superhero, but he was a little more super in his mind than he may well have been in real life, so to speak, even though it wasn't real life, if you know what I mean. Yeah. He, and he was just an enormous amount of fun to play, and the writing was superb, and, I'm crazy about the guy. He's one of my all-time favorites. There's no doubt about it. And then when the Funny or Die people called me up and said, well, would you like to do an April Fool's joke? And I thought, are you kidding? Try and stop me, right? So we put that Kickstarter campaign out on April Fool's Day. No coincidence there, that's for sure. And just had a ball with it, and everybody seems to be getting a kick out of it. So that's all. That's what matters, as long as we're all having a grin.
Oh, it was an April Fool's prank.
I don't know. You know what? I think it could come true, though, right? Why not?
Why not? I mean, if any cartoon from Disney should have its own movie, it's Darkwing Duck. I mean, you look at the impact that has. I mean, you got guys who cosplay as Darkwing Duck. I saw one guy cosplay as Launchpad. And you look at the talent that was behind that show. Of course, aside from you as well. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with the cast on there, and I have no idea why they have, whether or not putting that on Blu-ray DVD, because that's one of the shows.
Oh, they have. Well, there's a bunch of them on Blu-ray or on DVD.
Well, it needs to be Blu-ray high def, because.
Yeah, well, okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, but like I said, Darkwing Duck just had an impact on pop culture, especially with Disney. I mean, you look at cartoons today on Disney Channel, they just haven't got that same finesse or pizzazz that the cartoons of the 90s did. We're talking, TailSpin, DuckTales, Goof Troop, Quack Pack. You know, and you got to play big characters in a lot of those. And
oh yeah,
so
no, I agree with you. It's not the same, is it?
You know, and everyone, I've been YouTubing this. Everyone, and get this, everyone wants to see, they want to see some Don Karnage in some of these newer shows.
Oh God, yeah, me too. Well, Don Karnage is one of my all-time favorites, and you know, between Darkwing and Don Karnage, and you know, there's a few of them out there. I got a heck of a good time with my buddy Mr. Bumpy. You know, he was out there on Bump in the Night. That was a different show as well, you know, and you know, and then, you know, you segue into the different characters I'd done for movies like Ray and Princess and the Frog, and just, you know, so many of them. I mean, I hate to even dwell on one because I feel like I'm leaving one out, you know. It's like, oops, you know.
Well, tanging into movies, you're also known as the voice of Ed the Hyena from the classic movie The Lion King. How did you develop that infectious laugh? And can you tell us about your experience working alongside the other actors in the movie, including working with Whoopi Goldberg and Cheech Marin, who play the other two hyenas with you?
Yes, well, you know, I know them, but it was mostly from, you know, it's more of a, like, I met them mostly at the parties and the promotional events because a lot of times when you're doing movies, especially when you're doing movies, you're kind of flying solo. I mean, even when you're singing, of all things, believe it or not, because they can't take a chance of you overlapping or I guess it's a burden on the animators if one person's talking at the same time the other one is, and et cetera, et cetera. So as a result, you tend to just do all your recording alone, which is the situation with Ed. That's exactly what we did with Ed, and all of them for that matter. But you know, I got to, you know, Cheech and Whoopi and I, we have met, but not the way you would think. We weren't really standing right next to each other. So it was pretty crazy. And then I also sang a song called Be Prepared for Jeremy Irons and did a lot of his looping. So, yeah, it was kind of fun.
Classic. That's a classic song.
Yeah.
I love that. That's just an awesome song. And The Lion King is such an awesome movie, and of course it should. Because aside from you and Whoopi Goldberg and Cheech Marin, you got James Earl Jones, the iconic voice of Mufasa.
Forget it. Yeah, insane, right?
He can't hold a candle to you.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's Darth Vader and Mufasa.
Yeah.
So he's got all the juice he needs.
Yeah. Well, blogtalkradio.com. This is the Dennis Daniels Show. We've got voice acting legend Jim Cummings on the air, best known as Darkwing Duck, and this next character that everyone, I think, if you were a little kid, you had to have loved him. Ever since 1988, you've also provided the voice for Winnie the Pooh. What's it like voicing such a beloved children's character and being involved in so many different projects with Pooh for over 25 years?
Well, gosh, you know, it's an honor, you know, to basically carry on that tradition to a whole new batch of kids. You know, it's just wonderful. It's because he's you know, Winnie the Pooh is he's an evergreen. You know, he never really goes out of style. He's you know, it's not like he's a transformer that may come and go, or, you know, a G.I. Joe, or even a Smurf, or fill in the blank. You know, it's that kind of that sweet kind of iconic character that comes from literature and will always be there. You know, so it's kind of beautiful. You know, and he's in his own category, really.
Definitely, Winnie the Pooh is a beloved children's character, and you know, just he's everywhere in Disney all of a sudden, especially in the Kingdom Hearts video game series. And you know, introducing an older generation to, you know, back to Winnie the Pooh, and I loved playing in the 100 Acre Wood. I and especially because you got to also play with Tigger, which I know you're the new voice for Tigger, I believe.
It's you know, I've been doing it since '88 or '89. I don't know how new I am, sure. I guess.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's Paul Winchell. You know, he's deceased now, but at the time we were doing the show, and he had a bunch of projects underway. He was going to go to Africa and work on various forms of nutrition and everything. He was going to raise these, I guess you want to call them mud puppies or whatever, these little, not salamanders. They're like, I can't even think of what the name for them are. But if you recall at the time, actually you may not recall, but there was a great deal of famine and starvation and da-da-da. And Paul Winchell, I mean, what a guy. I mean, he was Knucklehead Smith and Jerry Mahoney, the voice of Tigger, and he invented one of the prototypes for the first artificial heart, and then he wanted to go to Africa to cure hunger. So it's like, wow, can you imagine anybody being more varied and more across the map? But, so as a result, he was gone a lot of the time. So I was Tigger half the time in the very, very original series. And then just about from that point on, throughout the early 90s and all the way up till now, obviously, it's been pretty much just me as Tigger. So I don't know. I guess if you added it all up, I'm probably like almost 100% of the Winnie the Pooh recordings or whatever that are out there, except for the very first 3 or 4 from the 60s when I was, I was in the audience then myself. So that was definitely not me. But, it's been mostly me as Pooh and also mostly me as Tigger. So I guess I'm getting used to this. So I don't know.
so I guess with Tigger, I guess it's great that you're the only one to voice Tigger.
Well, that's for sure. That's definitely the situation. No doubt about it.
That's the wonderful thing about Tiggers, that Tiggers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber, the bottom's made out of springs. They're bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about Tigger is that he's the only one.
I'm the only one.
Gosh.
That's exactly right.
My little sister had that bouncing Tigger and Ruth thing, and she would play it nonstop as a little kid. That's why it's deeply programmed. Gosh, man, that's in there well, man. Moving right along, another role you're known for is, of course, the Tasmanian Devil from various Warner Brothers projects like the iconic Taz-Mania, and you continue to do Taz in the new Looney Tunes show. So, what was it like to voice Taz, and what do you think of that crazy character that he does?
Taz, I love him. Well, that's my joke. I always say that I'm Winnie the Pooh and the anti-Pooh. Pooh, between Pooh and Tigger. That's like two opposite ends of the spectrum. So, why not?
Winnie the Pooh is way over here, and
oops, sorry, that was Tigger.
Taz is like, wow, that's easy for you to say.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, this is perfect. It's so much cool. But it must be a lot of fun voicing Taz.
It is. He's you talk about a bear of very little brain. Well, he's a Tasmanian devil of very little brain, but it doesn't matter. He gets the job done. He doesn't, he doesn't quibble. He's not a picky eater. So he gets around, And I mean, he gets around because he's like all over creation. So, yeah, man.
It's like I have a twin.
There you go. Excellent. There you go.
Well,
why not?
Yeah. Well, you've been voice acting for well over 3 decades, and a lot has changed in the industry. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the changes that you've personally noticed in the industry in the time that you've been involved in it?
Well, yeah, it'll be my 30th anniversary coming up in 2014.
And here's the 30 more years.
I started in 1984. So, I'll be coming up on that. But, things have changed greatly because, when I first started, the voice actors were in a separate thing, and, they just didn't, weren't basically in competition with, like, Jeff Bridges or, who else, Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt or fill in the blank, Now it's like they all want to be in movies and, I guess for their kids or whatever, but it's like, hey man, leave me alone. I won't be in True Grit if you leave me alone and get out of my way. I promise I won't get any Academy Awards if you quit hogging the mic.
Yeah, well,
the movie stars, hey, do me a favor, have a seat. Shut up.
Are there any new shows or projects that you're working on that you can tell us about?
Well, let's see. One just came out on DVD that I was actually nominated for an Annie Award, and it's called Zambezia. It did really, really well overseas, and I actually, I can't really give you a good reason why it didn't break in the theaters here. I don't think they had a distributor, but I got to tell you, it's really good. I end up losing to Samuel L. Jackson. Oddly enough, Samuel L. Jackson is the good guy, and I'm the bad guy. So it's like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? But, you win some, you lose some. But it's called Zambezia, and I play Budzo, a gigantic African monitor lizard. So obviously, typecast again. But so that's a lot of fun. And then, Star Wars, Clone Wars. I'm in and out of a few of those on and off. And, I'm going to blank on them right now, but, some different Pooh things that are out there, and just having a good old time. I'm doing a lot of TV promos and in and out of a few fish hooks. There's going to be Goldie and Little Bear. We did a pilot the other day as the Big Bad Wolf. And Tinkerbell, the Pirate Fairy, is coming out in, a year and a half. That's the thing, as you know, it takes a while to get all those Crayolas sharpened and all those pictures out there, right? So, we record and then we wait while the animators animate. So, keep your eyes peeled, and there's plenty in the pike, that's for sure.
You can tell Disney gets started on that goddamn Darkwing Duck movie.
That's right. Well, hey, I think you're doing your part. Now I'll do my part. You do your part. I think we can get it done.
Because I don't
what
know.
Do you think, Double D? Sound good?
Sounds good to me. I don't know anyone who wouldn't want to see a Darkwing Duck movie. Just don't have them do a 3D animation one. That'll kill it. That'll kill it and leave it in a box. No, it has to be animated, hand drawn. That's the only way that we remember Darkwing Duck. Either they got to.
No, I don't think they would switch at this late date. That's for sure.
Well, I did read that they're cutting back on hand drawn movies. So I'm like, okay, that's great. Paperman was a really good short. Okay, we get it. 3D is the way to go, and you can keep that all for all your Wreck-It Ralph. But if you're gonna remake a classic Disney cartoon movie, you gotta do it with an animation. No live action. That's what killed the Underdog movie. That's my personal opinion. That's what killed it. They did live action, no cartoon. We don't want to see live adaptations of our favorite cartoons. We want to see cartoon movies. That's why they're called cartoons.
I agree. You got to dance with the one that brung you, right? That's exactly right. I'm with you, man.
And they got to hurry because what's Launchpad? What, 91?
Who knows? Yeah.
I mean, they're bringing these guys back for DuckTales Remastered, so why can't we have a Darkwing Duck Remastered game?
Ain't it the truth? Well, there's there's demand out there for it. So what you start demanding and I'll start demanding, and we'll all be very demanding.
Yeah. Yeah, we all gotta get dangerous. Twitter, hashtag Let's Get Dangerous.
That's right. There's only one thing to do. If I could think of what it was, I would do it.
Could you just say in Darkwing's voice, let's get dangerous?
I think I can.
Let's get dangerous.
Yes. Oh, yep. 90s overload, 90s overload.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Warning.
Okay. Well, before we go, Mr. Cummings, we'd like to ask our guests this question. We have a lot of, our audience is a lot of vocal majors, theater majors, drama majors, and they want to get their start in the voice acting industry. Do you have any advice for those who, too, want to pursue a career like you?
Sure. Just keep your ears peeled and, work out. I always... excuse me, I recommend, being in community theaters, because acting is acting. And, it's not peculiar to the voice. I mean, the way I approach it is, I'm basically a character actor, and the characters have interesting voices or different voices. It's not just, a voice. It's not a voice. It's a character with a voice. So, you have to approach it that way. And it's like when I started off, I would do, just impressions of my teachers, of my friends, of my aunts and uncles. And, if you do an impression like that of someone that nobody knows, it's a new character. And the fact is, if you do an impression of someone that everybody knows, but it's a lousy impression and nobody knows who it is, it's a new character. Again, so, you can mix and match and do those things and put it all together and, just go out there and go for it, and don't be afraid to fall down and don't be afraid to really make a fool of yourself because, you're going to grow and you're going to learn what works, you're going to learn what doesn't, and, follow those instincts. I always say instincts are the best stinks. If you like it, if it's making you laugh, well, you're probably onto something. So keep it up.
Instincts are the best things. That would make an awesome T-shirt.
Yes, indeed.
Gosh, we actually might have to actually get that printed up on a T-shirt. Of course, you get part
Instincts
of
Instincts are the best stinks. Yes, indeed.
I like that.
Spell it how you want.
I like that a lot. That is actually really great. Well, Mr. Cummings, I thank you so much for being on the program. This is truly a huge honor. Guys, check out some of his brand new shows he's in. I know Sophia the First. Hopefully,
yes, indeed.
Hopefully, in the near future, we can see some of the classic Disney movies and cartoons on Netflix. I know there are like a whole bunch of Darkwing Duck episodes on YouTube. Check him out. He's not that hard to find. Yeah. Mr. Cummings, thank you so much for being on my program. It was a truly huge honor.
All right, brethren, my pleasure. And keep up the good work.
And don't forget to keep getting dangerous.
Will do. This is Disney Show saying, until we meet next time, stay dangerous.
Until we meet next time, stay dangerous.